Or not.
Hey everybody, you're listening to another episode of the WolfPack Podcast, and tonight we're going to continue our Star Wars Rebels reviews. It's been 2 weeks since Rebels last aired, and we're back with a new episode, the continuation of Kanan's capture and Tarkin returning back. And today's episode is called Rebel Resolve, and it is on the Disney XD app, and that's where you can find it currently. It's not on the Disney XD channel till, I believe, next Monday. Anyways, I'm Corey, and to my left to right, however it is on the screen, we have Dan.
Hello, everybody. Welcome back.
And we have Jason.
Hello, everyone.
And Bill.
Hello.
And, of course, I am Corey. And, yeah, what an episode. That was, this was a different feeling to Rebels, I think. It was a much darker, much broader, much less jokes, less playfulness to it. It was the real deal.
It had some good jokes in there too.
Yeah, it was.
Oh yeah,
there was some funny scenes.
There was
especially the end.
Yeah,
we'll get to
We'll get to that soon. Yeah.
I felt like as soon. Well, we'll talk about that later. But basically,
Let's start with the beginning.
Yeah.
Yep.
So we get the classic Return of the Jedi theme for the Endor battle.
Mm-hmm.
We got some ATDPs coming in, and that was awesome. I think that's always cool when they throw in, John Williams' music mixed with Kevin Kiner.
Yeah, I like that mix a lot.
Yeah, it's not 100% the same, but it's enough. And then Chopper's basically trying to find out where, Kanan's being held.
Yeah, because the episode starts out with the crew trying to essentially commandeer a ATDP. Them trying to break in, and so Chopper can access the data on board those to find out where Kanan is.
Mm-hmm. Where he's being held.
And I think one thing about this episode was with Kanan not being there, the stakes are a lot higher because Kanan being a Jedi, being, kind of being the leader, if you will, guiding them what to do, and now he's gone. It's they're kind of at a
the
loss.
leader in the field, when, because usually Hera's the one that's out, or she's always piloting, no matter who's out on, assignment, and it's usually Kanan taking the lead, and with him gone, it's kind of fallen to Ezra to take it over. And you mentioned Return of the Jedi there. It was classic. The sounds, as far as the score, and then Zeb going in and reaching in, and pulling the ATDP drivers out of the inside was very Return of the Jedi, as Chewie did to the ATST drivers.
Right.
I really like how they actually took control of the ships because they had to really force their way in and kind of rip everybody out. And one part that I was telling Corey when we were watching, I'm like, this is hilarious because they can't actually see out the viewports. These vehicles are not designed very well. You can look straight. That's it. There's no windows on the sides or on the back.
Yep.
One thing was, how it's a straight line. They're walking in a straight line, and there's two ATDPs, and there's one. They're in one, but they somehow keep on missing them. And even when they do hit them, somehow it doesn't explode. It's just kind of so it must be heavy armor. I don't know. But.
And they made sure to point out the fact that it is a poor design as far as Zeb, as big as he is, standing in front of it, essentially block the entire slit that they could see their direction and everything, and all you have is Sabine in the back, trying to guide them, basically. So just go straight is all she says, basically.
He really needs a jetpack too. That was one of the things. Commenting on.
Yeah.
She has a lot of cool gear, but just not the jetpack.
Not the jetpack. The Death Watch had jetpack. Why doesn't she have a jetpack? I don't know.
I'm sure at some point, maybe season 2, she'll upgrade her armor. And something that Marco had said, which I think is actually kind of cool. He said this a few weeks ago. If as the series goes on, like Kanan also builds up his armor, so it's not just that that portion on his arm, and he gets a chest plate, and I think that'd be really cool.
Don't you think if you're capturing someone, I was thinking about this when we were watching it. If you capture someone and you put them on a table or in a cell or something, why would you leave all their armor on?
Yeah.
Like, he should be wearing prison duds or something like that.
Yeah.
Right.
He's like, I got my full outfit on. I could have hidden stuff. You don't even know.
Pull a Batman move on him.
Yeah.
And I'm going to screen share a Facebook page called Star Wars Rebel Screenshots. Posted some images of the episodes.
There's a Facebook page called Star Wars Rebels Screenshots.
Yeah, and I'll tell you what, it comes in handy for people.
I love it.
Very creative, very original.
That's an easy Google search.
I wonder what it's about.
Yeah.
So Tarkin's back. Obviously, this is the overlapping arc. The arc that's continuing the story. This is I think our first major arc of Rebels, where
it literally continues right after the previous one.
Right. This is basically the season finale arc, where we got part 1, part 2. Yeah, 3-parter. And so, obviously, they rescue. Oh, they don't rescue. They get Chopper out of the ATDP, and Hera rescues them and whatnot, and then Hera has a chat with Fulcrum, and this is something that, a lot of people have been speculating. Who's Fulcrum? What's Fulcrum?
Right.
All that stuff. And I think we're getting very close to finding out who Fulcrum is, and I think we'll find out in the season finale.
Let's hope so.
I think we, as the viewers, will find out who Fulcrum is. I don't think the crew will find out.
Really? You think that?
I do. I think there'll be like the holographic transmission scene. Remember in Shadows of the Empire, there was the back and forth between Vader and the Emperor, and then when the Emperor turns it off, he turns around and Shizor is standing right next to him. I think something like that might happen in the finale, where they're talking to Fulcrum, and then the camera switches to Fulcrum, who will then turn to us, take off the cloak, and reveal Fulcrum's identity. And we'll all be like, what?
I actually like that. That's cool.
I like that idea. That's a good idea. Or I was thinking that wherever the destination they end up being, which we'll talk about in the end, that's when Fulcrum will show up.
Yeah.
Right. Well, also, so what I've been doing, because why not? Fulcrum has a pretty good amount of time talking this episode, about 50 seconds worth, and I put that through some voice changers and whatnot, and the voice that came out, we were just talking about this, has the same speech pattern as Ashley Eckstein, exactly her speech pattern. The voice is a bit different, and I think the reason being is Lucasfilm is going to take the necessary precautions to modify that as much as they can.
Yeah.
And I think they've actually modified it to the point where no matter what semitone you put it to, I know we got a request to put it to 6. The sound system that I want to work on right now, it's not going to come through as well if I have it on Google, so I may just upload that at a later date. But I did put it to 6 semitones, and I still think that it sounds like the 4 and 5 semitone that I put it to before. There was one instance when I put it on 6 where it kind of sounds like Ahsoka, but that's for like a second. So I'm sure. Actually, I can try to do it while we talk, but I think that
the fact that too, we have to consider that the Clone Wars was several years prior to all of this, so her voice is going to sound different. So Ashley is going to try to make herself sound a little bit older, even though she has the same speech pattern and whatnot. So it might not sound exactly like Ahsoka, if that's what y'all think it is, and hope it all pans out that way.
Well, if you watch the Clone Wars arc where we get to see future Ahsoka, and you listen to that future Ahsoka talking to present Ahsoka, the adult Ahsoka does sound a little bit different. And naturally, it should be that way.
But I think you can still tell it's Ahsoka though. You can. the voice is still there, where you know it's Ahsoka. It's just a bit deeper, and I think that's how she's gonna sound. But I just think this was more modified. I just put it to the 6th semitone. So if you guys don't mind, I'm gonna play that real fast, and
All right.
I guess we'll give our thoughts on it. So, uh-oh. Okay, I'm getting an error. Never mind. Continue talking.
Well, I also was talking about taking over the ATDPs. I liked how Chopper was flying. Pretty much throughout this episode, I thought that was kind of cool.
Yeah.
We'll get to the space flight in a minute, but I liked how he just perfectly lands inside the ATDP, bubbles around, and then plugs right in trying to get the information.
Yeah.
And, oh, surprise, surprise! Kanan's being held in Tarkin's ship. Did we not figure that was going to be the case?
Yeah, we didn't get to see what Tarkin's ship looked like. I mean, it's a Star Destroyer, so I assume it looks like all the others at this point, but we didn't actually get to see
I like
it.
how Tarkin and the Inquisitor are together, but still Tarkin is like, I'm in charge.
Exactly.
You're just the lapdog. You know what I mean?
Like he treated him like he treats Vader or anyone else. He's like the only person who has such an authority that he can talk over anybody except the Emperor.
Even Callus was there, and you barely even noticed he was there.
Yeah.
You know, it's
I love that about Tarkin.
It's all Tarkin all the time. You know, when he's there.
And also, you know, one thing about Tarkin, when they're torturing Kanan, all right, Callus tries it, Tarkin tries it, Inquisitor tries it. None of them are able to get info out of him. Naturally, you would think they would bring it to somebody else, you know, somebody who can get info out of Jedi. I feel like if Kanan is presenting such a problem, I don't know if it's time to call him in yet, but we do know, this was confirmed, that Darth Vader would be back by the end of Season 1. So,
just wait.
Could this mean that Vader's
coming into the picture?
Right, like, I'm not saying he is gonna interrogate Kanan, I'm saying could he be on his way to, and, you know, they rescue him and he doesn't get his chance, but I'm saying this is how they bring him in, you know.
Yeah.
This is the way to bring him in. I mean, essentially, Vader is the one who needs to eliminate the remaining Jedi.
He is the first and the broadest Sith Inquisitor, if you will. He is the Sith Lord that will destroy them all, you know. So, I think also, might as well talk about this, where they're going Mustafar. I mean, if you think about it.
Which is crazy.
Yeah, at the end of Revenge of the Sith, Anakin was... That's where he turned to
it's like we talked about, Corey. I mean, right before the show. I think it makes the most sense that they kill off Jedi there because, okay, let's say Vader is the one that they're taking Kanan to, right? The way I see it, it makes sense that Vader goes there to kill other Jedi because I feel like maybe in his mind, that's where Anakin Skywalker died.
Exactly.
He died at the hands of Obi-Wan Kenobi on Mustafar. So I, as Darth Vader now, am going to eliminate any other Jedi right here.
Well,
this is where we're going to eliminate Jedi from now on.
Technically, could you consider that's where Obi-Wan, quote-unquote, died too?
Yes.
You know, they dueled there, and then after that, you know...
No one really knows what happened with Obi-Wan, yeah.
So, it kind of reinforces that.
Both master and apprentice died right there. Absolutely.
And I think that when Rebels began, when Season 1 began, it was always on Lothal, they had some wisecracking jokes. But we've been told by many people, including Freddie, that when you know...
When the show
hits its peak, and it hit its peak right now, this arc, and it's not just this arc, the whole season has been freaking awesome, but I think this arc is going to change the tone of the show forever now. It's going to be like, okay guys, here we go, Rebels is entering Season 2, it's not just the Ghost Crew, you know, we're dealing with other Rebel cells. Yes, it's still going to be about them, it's always going to be about those characters, but it's not going to fully always be about them. There's going to be other characters brought into the mix. They're going to go on other missions with other characters, you know, people we know. So I think this is their way of changing the tone. It's going to be a little more a little more darker, a little more the risks. Okay, the risks are going to be higher for these guys now because everybody knows who they are. All right, civilians know who they are, and like Fulcrum said, the highest levels of the Empire.
Yep.
Maybe
most
to
likely
rescue Kanan, you're going to have to bring in all the big guns. Lando, Fulcrum, they come in with their group. Bizzago made an
probably even
appearance
Bail
in this
Organa.
episode, so he'll bring in his crew. You never know.
Probably Bail Organa will bring his people too.
Yeah.
And let's think about it. Maybe Kanan doesn't even get rescued by the end of season 1. Maybe this is something that goes on farther.
Maybe he still stays captured, even all the way through season 2.
Yeah, and Ahsoka joins the crew to help rescue him for season 2.
Pretty insane.
And if any of you guys remember on our interview with Freddie, he specifically told us that the person who reveals to Ezra and the entire crew that Kanan never completed his training is where Kanan breaks down, and he said that the person who tells him that it's going to be an epic moment, he said. Tells him that is Force sensitive, if I remember correctly. So I do wonder who that is going to be. It could be so many characters. I originally thought it was Obi-Wan, but that's when it was that was when it was the first few episodes of Rebels. But now that we're seeing where the tone is going, it could be Vader, it could be Ahsoka, it could be Obi-Wan, it could be the Inquisitor.
Yeah.
It could be Hera.
It could be Hera. It could be Ezra. It could be Ezra who finds out, like, through the Force.
Right.
Because Hera knows more than what she's letting on throughout the whole series so far. Like when they're on board and, they're talking, Kanan's been captured, and she says, Kanan doesn't know anything. But that kind of implies that Hera does. And so we don't know, how much more Hera knows than everyone else.
Yeah.
Which I thought was kind of a cool character moment for her.
Well,
and you could tell in the way they animated her face and the sadness in her voice, you could tell that she's keeping something huge from him, from everybody. So, whether or
she's
not...
a Force user.
Yeah, I think that could be the case. Like Brian said the other night, it makes so much sense. She seems to know what a vision is. She seems to know a lot about the Force. She seems to talk about a lot about the Force. She knows a lot about the Jedi. She was little during the Clone Wars, but she was brought up with that. She was brought up with the Clone Wars. So she could definitely be a Force user or somebody who has always been friends with Force users, and her relationships with them developed throughout the years, and maybe Hera and Ahsoka were friends, So
part of me kind of hopes she is, and part of me hopes she isn't, because it's like if she's got the Force, it's like everyone has the Force on this show, which makes it all that less special. Come A New Hope.
Right.
But it'd be an interesting twist,
Yeah.
I agree. I guess it just all depends on how it's going to work out with the story. I kind of agree with you, Jason, in the sense that part of me also feels like she shouldn't have the Force. I kind of figure more, in my opinion, I feel like it's more of she's been brought up with, she was brought up during the Clone Wars, so she probably had her interaction with several Jedi. And then being friends with Kanan, she learned a lot more. Kanan clearly's opened himself up to her in the past.
Right.
So he could have easily, explained things that he learned throughout his Jedi years or whatever. So, I mean, there's so many things to her that I'm sure we'll find out by the end of the last episode, and then going into season 2 as well. So there's so many possibilities. This is my favorite part of I guess the year, just speculating all the time, and then all of us come up with some really good ideas, and sometimes they pan out, sometimes they're better than what we were thinking they were, or whatever it may be. It's so much fun doing this.
Well, and then also kind of relating to that, with season 2 being premiered at Celebration. Do you remember in Star Wars Insider the description for the season finale was shocking? The shocking season finale. So you put that into effect?
Shocking season finale. Ready? Ready? Vader shows up to interrogate Kanan. Right? The Inquisitor, Tarkin, the whole crew. The rebel crew that we've come to know throughout the season shows up to rescue him, led by Fulcrum, who reveals herself to be Ahsoka.
Okay.
Ahsoka versus Vader for the life of Kanan.
On Mustafar.
There you go. Corey's head exploded.
I think that does happen. This should be a warning sign. Like, this should be a warning sign to Vader. I hope Ahsoka's powers are so strong now that nobody dies during this battle. This isn't
that she pulls a Star Killer on Vader.
Well, no. Basically, what I hope is their goal is not to kill Vader. Right? Their goal is to get Kanan and get out.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah. They don't want to confront anybody. They just want to get him out of there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What I'm thinking happens if Dan, let's go on your theory here. If that does happen and they do rescue Kanan that way, Ahsoka can be the one distracting Vader, and
while everyone gets Kanan out.
And now Vader knows.
And you see, like, across the space between the two ships, you know, those tubes that they have connecting the ship. Maybe it breaks apart. There's Vader on one side, Ahsoka on the other side.
Oh,
their
my God.
hands outstretched like this, using the Force, trying to bring each other back and push each other away. I don't know. I'd just be like, wow. I don't know. I would think
the finale's gonna have to be like 2 hours long.
Yeah,
I know.
they're gonna have to pull a movie special like they did in the beginning.
Hey, maybe it is. We don't know.
I think that would be such a dramatic moment.
Heck yeah. I want to see Vader react to it in sort of a way where, you know how in The Force Unleashed, like in the first level, once he sees that the stormtroopers and the Imperial people were gonna like shoot down Starkiller, he sort of like reacted a little bit. You know what I mean? Like, holy crap, they're gonna shoot him down. I got to do something, something like that. But more in towards like, I seriously can't believe you're still alive right now. It's like I told Corey. It's like I want to see that Vader. I want to see a little Anakin come out of Vader. You know what I'm saying? In any way, shape, or form, to where he feels obligated that he needs to kill her to release whatever there's left of Anakin in him. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
To completely cut all of his ties to his past life as a Jedi.
Think about this, all right? They're both on their ships, okay? They're both on their ship. And no. The corridor is closing, and Vader is walking towards it like he does in A New Hope, and Luke sees him. Instead, reversed on that, Ahsoka is looking right at Vader. Vader's looking right at them, and then the blast door closes right in front of them.
Yeah.
I think we're blowing quite a few people's minds right now.
Yeah. So on this episode of Star Wars Rebels, it turns out that the Imperials can't communicate with each other, so they use droids.
I think that, like, the season 2 finale, the season 1 finale, it's got to be. I mean, they're planning to hype this up. You know, Tracy over at Lucasfilm has already said she's working on press release for this. This is going to be huge, man. This is.
I hope they're not overhyping it, though. Like, I really hope when they tell us it's shocking, that it really is shocking. You know what I mean? It's not something where we're like, oh, and that's it. You know?
That would suck.
I want us to be like, let me think, you know, like one of the Clone Wars arcs where things happen unexpected and we're like, holy crap, and then we gotta wait till the next season comes up.
What? And I think one thing about this is when they're going to show season 2, and if it's this shocking, what better way to share the continuation of that than that celebration? You know?
And then it's like all of us there.
Yeah, dude. It's going to be awesome, and I think also I like that they're doing this. And I know, Dan, I know you don't have cable, so I feel kind of bad saying this, but I think it's kind of cool how most of us can kind of sit down, watch it, and tweet about it.
Yeah.
Don't worry. Somehow we'll cover Dan. Maybe I'll like turn on the channel, have my webcam directed at the TV, and you can watch.
Oh my god!
All right, I've live tweeted Star Wars shows before. It always got me in trouble.
I'm sorry to hear that, Dan.
Did that in the Clone Wars. Everybody hated it because, I'm on the East Coast. West Coasters, not so happy to find out what's going on.
Also, I would like to say that the person who also directed this is Charles Murray, or wrote this episode. Charles Murray wrote the arc of Ahsoka leaving the temple. That was his arc.
Oh, really?
And he's brought back.
That's kind of telling.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, right?
There's so many things that make it known that Ahsoka's Fulcrum. Think about it. Okay, the French voice actress confirms it. Okay, that's one thing. Okay.
Or IMDb, right?
Yes, that's clearly Ashley's voice in the
IMDb doesn't get any more legit than anything else. So
no, it wasn't even IMDb. It was their personal website.
Oh, okay. Holy crap.
Yeah, but as someone had once pointed out in the past, IMDb can be updated by anybody.
Well, that's what I'm saying.
Oh, really? Just like Wikipedia, too?
Yeah.
But, yeah, this one was not on IMDb. If it was IMDb, I wouldn't believe it.
So her own official website. Yeah, it can't get more legitimate than an actor's official website.
Rebels Report actually reached out to the voice actress, and she did confirm that, yes, she is playing Ahsoka.
What the heck? Why would they spoil that over there? Are they, ahead of us or something?
Just not as sensitive to spoilers, I guess.
Yeah.
That, or it's like she wants to put everything she's done just in case somebody's looking for a job opportunity for her.
God dang, call desperation because...
Well, it worked. She got attention.
Mm-hmm, she did. So she may get fired too, so we'll see.
Yeah, exactly.
But
so
no,
I stepped out for a bit. Did you guys talk about the part where they, swapped the droids for, Chopper gets an paid job?
There, but we keep going back to Fulcrum.
Yeah, I know. I'm trying to steer.
Sorry, go ahead. Actually, before we do that real quick, let me just put that quick Fulcrum reporting. I don't want anybody to get mad at me. Let me just play it real quick. Is everybody ready to listen?
Yep.
Alright, let's do this. Can you hear that?
I can't hear it.
God, no.
Okay, sorry to the...
Never mind.
I was very anticlimactic, Corey.
That was very shocking.
So, we're not going to be talking about that anymore, so let's move on to the droids.
Well, I gotta say, it's like I was telling you, Corey. I really like that paint that Sabine did for Chopper in this episode. You gotta make a figure of that. If not, we're gonna have to army build the crap out of Chopper.
Yeah, I think so.
If we find him at retail, because I haven't found him still, he's the only one I'm missing, which is ridiculous.
Well, actually, speaking about Rebels figures, Hasbro did confirm today in Sir Steve's guide, their Q&A, that they're still making Rebels figures. It's not going away.
Yeah,
they're just,
as much.
They just said that for fall, Force Awakens is their, and that makes total sense. I think Rebels, yeah, it should be. So I think that Rebels is not gone. This gives them a lot more time to develop them and to know which ones they want to do. And
well, like we said the other day, there's still a lot of toys in the Rebels and Black Series and Mission Series and whatever that they've announced that has not really hit stores yet. So I think they need to give themselves time to catch up.
Mm-hmm.
True.
No, absolutely, and I think that's a good thing for a lot of people too. Because there's a lot of people who don't have Wave 1, let alone Wave 2 hidden.
Which is insane, man.
Don't have it.
Yeah, you don't have it. Dan Curto doesn't have it.
I've seen the remains of Wave 1 in stores, but they were like Obi-Wan and Clone Trooper and stuff like that. Very few Rebels characters.
The non-Rebels?
Yeah, the single card. What was that?
Chopper.
Is Jason by any chance the voice actor of Chopper? I mean,
sometimes.
Is this a Wolfpack exclusive?
Yep.
This is Fulcrum level stuff.
Yeah.
I think it was interesting the way they switched the droids and how the Imperials, I guess, are almost stupid enough not to realize.
They are stupid. My God, you can't tell the difference from height alone.
Yeah.
I don't think like the general lackey stormtrooper who's standing guard at a transport knows what droid to expect.
Right.
They just say here comes an R2 or astromech unit. it's got the logo on the side.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, exactly. But I'll tell you what, that Empire has awful communication with one another. That's what screws them over in the end.
Well, even Obi-Wan Kenobi didn't recognize an astromech droid that he fought in the Clone Wars with.
That is true.
That's only Obi-Wan. He's not
That
perfect.
That was Ben Kenobi. Yeah, remember ever seeing this droid before?
Could be going senile. Let's not forget.
That's what happens. Yeah, he's old.
He said
he
he didn't remember owning a droid.
Oh, I don't remember owning a droid. Well, I guess technically that's true, but really he didn't know how to?
From his point of view, he did not own a droid. He used them, but he didn't own them.
Mm.
So, kind of moving down the episode, we also see again Kanan getting tortured, and they reveal he's on Mustafar. I gotta say, Chopper kicked some serious butt with that flying mode he had. Like, turn on, it was like
that freaking turbo-like thing. He pulled an Iron Man right there.
Yeah.
When he leaves the. Oh, I missed one part where I thought it was cool how the Imperial shuttle or whatever it was transport docked with the front of that Lagos. I think is what it was called.
Mm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Or was that I think that was the transport's name. The Lagos. Was that the?
You got me there.
I can't remember which.
Yeah, that was the transport that Lego revealed. I think I could be wrong.
No, that's a different one.
That's a different one. Okay.
Yeah. Anyway.
See, I'm not quite sure,
Me neither.
but it's something.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so that's where Kanan is on board that transport, and then
Right.
Chopper gets on board in his disguise, accesses the computer.
Yep.
Essentially just keeps about his business while he's getting questioned by these Imperial morons. Essentially, it's like, oh, you're not supposed to have access to that. Where's all your data? And then he broadcasts his location. Which is cool because I think that's the first time we have seen his little radar dish thing on top actually do something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Kind of pops up and.
Well, Zeb grabbed it to pull him out.
Right.
That was pretty funny.
I feel like where we're gonna go from here, the season finale, which is March 2nd.
2-week gap. That's ridiculous.
It's like I'm so used to this by now. It's like, oh, it's in 2 weeks, okay.
I mean, again, I get it. I guess because they wanted to extend it just because it's a short season. And
I disagree. I think this is what they should have done. I think that the season finale should have been this episode and the next
last one together
combined. Yeah.
Yeah.
9 and 10.
that too.
That would have been sweet. But
I'd like to see the last two in like a movie theater.
Or the 3 eventually together.
well, the last 2 will be shown at Celebrations. So.
Yeah, they'll show them like that, together.
Oh, so they'll do what they did at C6 with Clone Wars.
Yep.
Huh?
Yeah, it'll be like a director's cut.
Sweet.
And I think
I'm down with that.
It's gonna be huge, man. I'm so looking forward to March 2nd. It's right around the corner. I mean, look, we got this week to go, or next week to go past, and then we're there. So it's not, that far away. So it'll be very interesting to see where we're gonna go from here. I mean, I think this episode, knocked everything, not knocked everything down, but in terms of rating, I would give this episode a solid 10 out of 10. I think this was the best episode in the entire series. I know I've said that a lot with a lot of episodes, but
I was going to say, have you ever given a rating that's not 10 out of 10?
Yes,
10.
Out of Darkness. I did not like Out of Darkness at all. I gave that one a 6, I believe. So, yeah, there's been that one I didn't like, but I feel like this one had it all. It felt different. It didn't feel like the regular Rebels episodes we're used to. There was risk involved. Kanan's not there. It was different. And I think
kind of feels like how you were comparing it. What was it before the show? Like Arrow.
Yep.
How like when Oliver was dead or whatever, and it's like everyone else had to improvise without him. Well, that's the same case here.
Right. Spoiler alert: Oliver's dead. So, anyways.
Spoiler alert! No, he's not.
Well, in this one too,
Yeah.
they start in this one too. They start out on the fall,
Right.
and then they there's this essentially a space battle with the Ghost attacking the Imperial transport,
Right.
and then you get the cool scene with Chopper blasting his way out of the airlock, killing some stormtroopers along with him.
Mm-hmm.
And another part I thought was really good was where they're trying, just the whole visuals on this episode are really good too, as far as you have Chopper rocketing along through space and the Ghost trying to capture him through the hangar.
Yeah,
it seemed kind of almost Wall-E like.
Yeah.
It
was very cinematic.
Yeah.
I also like towards the end of the episode, while Chopper was on the other ship, doing his infiltration, they actually kept the other astromech droid, and towards the end, when Chopper rejoins them, Zeb's like, "Oh, maybe we'll keep this one too."
But that's because he liked them,
like, they're gonna knock that droid off the ship. Sure enough, Chopper.
That's hilarious.
Yeah, I totally thought they were gonna.
Little cats pop up, and they're like, "Ooh."
Yeah.
You would think that either one, they'd keep him, or two, destroy him, because
I really thought they were going to keep him. I'm like, oh, right?
I did too.
Said, oh, another droid, and then boom, and I just died of laughter.
I kind of think it would have been cool if they kept him. 2 droids.
It's like,
I literally just texted Corey. It's like, they're going to throw him off the... Yep.
Chopper's a sadistic little bastard.
Chopper's got issues.
He really does, but that's awesome. Like, he's literally my favorite droid in Star Wars for right now.
Me too. I've gotten a lot of crap for that, so I'm glad finally somebody else said it.
I don't know how that droid would have survived, though, falling from...
for real.
Well, he landed on the ground.
From a mile high.
It landed on a cotton-like grass. That's what it was.
For the cats. I don't know. What are those things?
The loft cats.
Aren't those like the same cats in Clone Wars? What are they called?
Those were loft cats.
Loft cats.
But yeah, out of 10 stars, I give it 10. How about you, Dan?
I mean, I thought it was a lot of fun. I don't know about star-wise. I think there was probably, I would say maybe an 8 or a 9, just because I'm a bit particular. I'd like to see more planets than Lothal.
Well, sorry, we totally skipped the whole Vizago part. Let's talk about that.
Vizago was awesome. I mentioned him earlier. Yeah.
That's right. Vizago's finally back in here, and I think we're seeing a season 2 episode that's going to come out. Obviously, Ezra tells Vizago that him and Kanan are a Jedi and whatnot. And they make a deal, and Ezra has to do anything for Vizago.
Yeah.
Also, every time I hear Vizago, I just think Hondo. The way he says, "So how is this good for Vizago?" In third person.
Right.
Yeah.
That's how Hondo would say. So what is good for Hondo?
Mm-hmm.
So I think we're gonna see an episode Vizago and Hondo for sure.
Oh, that would be amazing.
That'll be fun.
So what mission Vizago is gonna have Ezra do? Who knows? I mean, obviously it's gonna be something
bad.
See Ezra take off on a little side mission and explore the underworld a little bit. That will be fun. Maybe visit Coruscant and see what's been going on there during that, what was it, 1313 that they introduced during the end of the Clone Wars?
Yep.
I'm not sure if that would even be possible.
See Venture still down there below or something like that?
Oh, could you imagine?
Heck yeah, that'd be awesome.
And I've said this since day one that Rebels was announced. Rebels is completely a direct sequel to the Clone Wars. This is the events following the Clone Wars. This is the story of the continuation of this huge battle that hasn't stopped. It's just sides, choosing sides, deception. It's literally
same thing with a different title.
Right, the same players, switched, flipped around. So the Empire that was the Republic, they're now the bad
that was all part of Palpatine's plan, remember? So the whole 10, 20, 30-year plan that he had.
Which is insane, man.
Yeah.
So, you put that into effect with Vizago's mission, Ahsoka being revealed as Fulcrum. I know I'm jumping the gun, but I think it still is. Kind of everything that's going to be revealed, and watch, Ahsoka's not going to be Fulcrum. It's going to be Leia, just like Dan said.
It's gonna be Ventures.
Ventures.
Ventures, holy crap,
Hey,
that would be
what's
something.
Laura Singh doing these days? That would be a good.
Barisofi. Totally.
Barisofi, that'd be kind of surprising, but cool. It's like,
Somebody
wait a
pointed
minute,
out-
weren't you bad?
Somebody
Yeah.
said that they think that it sounded like Meredith Salinger's voice.
Yeah.
You thought Cat Tabor earlier, so.
I thought
Yeah.
Cat Tabor for some weird reason. Then I reversed it.
It wouldn't surprise me, though, if they do get Cat Tabor to play Leia in the future,
Yeah.
since she already did in the Force Unleashed games.
It can't beat Carrie.
Hmm?
I think that pretty much concludes tonight's episode. This episode of
It will
Rebels.
not be Boba Fett. I will go on the record right now. Fulcrum is not Boba Fett.
Fulcrum is not. Okay.
It'd be a little weird if it was with a female voice, like.
Yeah, something happened to him in that clone chamber, huh?
Yeah.
But
And that's the clones. They've run out of source material, right? So they have to start copying other clones. So maybe that's what happened to Rex. But the clones of Rex aren't not as good. You ever see the movie Multiplicity? Clones of
No.
clones are not so good. So that's why they can't hit anything when they're firing their weapons. Their internal targeting computers don't work.
but Dan,
Same thing
Stormtroopers are
with
not
Force
clones.
Unleashed, too.
Stormtroopers are not clones, though.
Oh, well, maybe that's why. Because
Because the clones of the clones are defective.
the clones of the clones, not so sharp.
Literally.
I got a wallet.
Yeah.
I like
Thank you all for listening to another episode of WolfPack Roundtables, our Rebels ideas and discussions. We'll be back in 2 weeks for our conclusion to Season 1 of Rebels. It's been so much fun to be able to talk about these episodes on a weekly basis, and it's going to be awesome. Sit down and talk about the finale, and then we'll be back in 5 short weeks after talking about Season 2, if we're allowed to. So, that'll be fun. Rebels is heating up if you haven't seen this episode. And if you're watching and you haven't seen Rebels and you think you want to give it a try, give it a try. It's freaking phenomenal. You can find me here on YouTube with the WolfPack Podcast. Please give us a subscribe and please share our podcast around. We're trying to hit 1K by celebration.
By celebration, yeah.
So hopefully we can achieve that goal. And also you can follow us on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, and Google Plus, and www.wolfpackpodcast.com, and you can follow Nabil on
YouTube.com/Nabil6901, Facebook.com/Nabil6901, Twitter.com/Nabil6901.
and Jason.
You can find me on yakface.com and weekly on the Realm Recap with Fly Guy.
And Dan.
I don't know.
Yeah, I don't even know why I asked you.
He doesn't even know. I mean, if you guys see under his name Dan Curtle, where's Curtle? He has no idea.
I don't
where
know.
he's
I show up in a lot of different places where you least expect it. It's a lot of fun to keep people guessing.
at.
So Dan is Fulcrum. He is the Fulcrum.
He's Fulcrum's father.
Where is Fulcrum?
Right. Where is Fulcrum?
Where's Fulcrum?
And you can catch us again in 2 weeks. You can catch us on Mercury Podcast, our Arrow show, which will be continuing on Thursday. And this Friday we have another episode, obviously, which is actually our 126th episode. Today's episode, which is crazy. Or is it 100? Yeah, I'm pretty sure it is.
126 on Friday, yes.
On Friday, Paul Harrison will be joining us of Jedi Temple Archives, and we'll be discussing everything about Toy Fair. We'll be discussing everything that wasn't Toy Fair, and he has a few things he wants to share with us and talk to us about. And we'll also be interviewing Freddie Prinze Jr. and Taylor Gray on March 6th. So until next time, everybody, may the Force be with you.
See you guys.
Who is
See ya.
Fulcrum?
Not